They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let's join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they want you.
Come on, hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Welcome to Corruption Must Go, ICPC's weekly television program. I am your host, Murna Barnabas Atiai. The United Nations defines the youth as those persons between the ages of 15 and 24 years, while the National Youth Policy of Nigeria, on the other hand, describes the youth as all males and females aged 15 to 29. The policy says the youth represent the most active, the most volatile, and yet the most vulnerable segment of the Nigerian society. Therefore, the active engagement of youth in the anti-corruption crusade is central to achieving a stable society as well as averting the worst threats and challenges to sustainable development. Today on the program, as the world marks the 2022 International Youth Day, 12th August, we shall be having a studio discussion with some vibrant youths on how they can contribute to combating and preventing corruption to secure their future, and how ICPC has been able to tap into this critical demographic resource in its anti-corruption campaign. We'll bring you details and more, but first, Joy Aja is standing by with stories on anti-corruption. Hello viewers, thank you for joining us. I am Joy Aja with Anti-Corruption Stories. ICPC has set out to educate the anti-corruption and transparency units of ministries, departments and agencies on the National Ethics and Integrity Policy and other major initiatives of the Commission with a view to strengthening them to prevent corruption in the public service. The ICPC chairman, Professor Bolaji Owasonye SAN, made this known recently in Ibadan, Oyo State, during a two-day training for executives of actors in the Southwest Geopolitical Zone. The chairman, who was represented by an ICPC board member, AIG Olugbenga Adeyanju, retired, stated that the implementation of the policy's 7 core values of human dignity, voice and participation, patriotism, personal responsibility, integrity, national unity and professionalism was one of the strategies which would contribute towards promoting accountability across the public service system. The ICPC chairman stressed that the training would provide ICPC and the active members the opportunity to take stock, share experiences, and evaluate the journey so far in the deployment of the Ethics and Integrity Compliance Scorecard within the service, to appreciate areas of strength and vulnerability, and to make adjustments in areas where improvements were necessary. That will be all on this segment. Corruption Must Go continues. Please stay with us.
If you're just tuning in, this is Corruption Must Go. The scourge of corruption takes its toll on all segments of the population, sparing none, including the youth. It is indisputable that being the most active demographic group places them in a prime position to make a great impact in the anti-corruption effort. With me in the studio are some vibrant and energetic youths who have the zeal and passion to take a stand for integrity and make a significant impact in this anti-corruption fight. I have Ms. Habiba Ahmed. She is a communication expert. Welcome to the studio. I also have Habila Kayit. He is the executive director of GLEMD. Did I get that right? Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
We also have Zugwai Tagwai. She is a social activist. You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
All right. 12th August was celebrated as the International Youth Day. Why the need for such a significant day?
Thank you for having me. The International Youth Day is aimed at addressing or first appreciating the activities of young persons globally, and to also see how issues that are bedeviling the society are addressed. Now, it is a platform where the youth will also be charged to contribute positively to the societal growth.
Okay. So what did you do on that day, Sugoi?
For me, as a One Champion with One Campaign, a public advocacy international organization on poverty eradication and preventable diseases, we took out time to create awareness and sensitization on the unemployment crisis affecting young people across Africa, especially with COVID-19 and its impact on the access to jobs.
Okay. Habiba, communication expert, what did you do?
Yeah, as a communication expert and as a gender advocate working with Women's Rights Advancement and Protection Alternative, what we did was sensitize the women, especially youths, to amplify their voices, to also see that they are able to join the political spaces and demand for accountability from leaders of faith and culture and from our politicians.
Okay, now that given that the youths are known to be energetic, like we said, very vibrant, how can they channel such energies into the fight against corruption?
As young people, I believe that the fight against corruption starts from every day of our lives, beginning from showing up on time when an event is being organized, showing up on time to your workplace or your business place, because not doing that means that you're taking out of the work time that is being allotted to you. And a lot of times we tend to have to lie about that space that we've given. It has to do with living up to the principles that we uphold, our values, knowing our values and also living up to it. It also has to do with speaking up and letting other people know that there are ways that they can also contribute. As a young person, for me, I get to call out the government or our elected representatives using different platforms, whether through public advocacy, through project evaluation or follow-ups on constituency projects, and highlighting or projecting this work on various platforms so that people are aware that there are certain gaps that are not being met and there are ways that they can engage to demand for accountability.
All right. You have a body called the GLEMD.
Yes, ma'am.
Based on what she said, what are you doing since you are young and energetic? What are you doing as a body to ensure the fight against corruption succeed?
For us, first, we feel if you want to address corruption in Nigeria, the first thing you have to do is to address poor governance. Elections in Nigeria, from the political party's point of view, we have not gotten it right. And when you have people with remarkable and unshakable integrity as your leaders, you are going to have leaders who will have the will to champion and to also put their energy towards eradicating or finding a place to address corruption. Now, political parties, we understand from their primaries, the composition is from the grassroots. Who are the people representing from the grassroots? And what are they doing, to deliberately look at the profile of every aspirant? Who among the aspirants is having the capacity and the capability to be able to address some of the major challenges we're having? Talking about manifestos of political parties, we are advocating that citizens should not just stand on the fence, citizens should fully get involved. By getting involved, you are going to address internal, because the corruption in the society starts with internal party politics. So once you can address the political space, you'll be able to have leaders that you can hold accountable. These are some of the things that we are doing.
Okay. We know that the young people are heavy users of the social media, heavy users. If that is the case, what are we doing on our social media platforms to encourage conversations around the anti-corruption fight?
So we are doing a lot of things, and I encourage the youth to do a lot of things within the social media spaces. One of the complaints we have from the youth is, oh, there is no money, we don't even know how to do these things. They are not involved in mentorship programs, they are not involved to know how to demand for accountability. So when you use the social media space, which is cheaper, which is accessible at any space or time you find yourself, then you have these messages sprung across all the youths. And then they come out with one voice to demand for accountability on that space. For instance, we had a program, Women Calling Out Corruption, and women from different spaces across Nigeria and beyond came together to say that we do not want to be, used as tools, political tools anymore. Once we vote you into party, you have to do something. And this has yielded a lot of progress. For instance, if you go to Akwa Ibom today, which is one of our project states, they have demanded for accountability from their local government actors, and they have now come back to reconstruct a road. I'm sorry, I can't really put the local government name. Also, if you go down to Ogun, if you go down to Zamfara, in fact, yesterday the Child Right Act was passed in Zamfara, and the VAP Act, which is as a result of youth, women coming together using different platforms. It doesn't have to be huge, it doesn't have to be big. You just have to be, from little groups. Communication spams does a lot of things. From just me and you conversation to me and you to larger groups, from larger groups to communities, from communities to society as a whole. Then you see these messages come to pass and you see action being implemented. So communication is a vital thing in fighting corruption. And at any stage you find yourself, you should communicate against corruption.
I'm going back to Zugwe. We're still talking about the youths as heavy users of the social media. If that is the case, if they are the heavy users, surely they are. What kind of conversation are we putting out there? Are we actually demanding transparency and accountability from our leaders?
Yes, we are, and very well so. I'm glad that there's the awareness that we are heavy users of social media. And that's also because we understand the power that information and information sharing has, and also the power of the people knowing and being able to use the power of the knowledge that they have. Using social media, there are a lot of young people who have organized themselves into either bodies, organizations, or just watchmen who do their research, their groundwork in communities, and come out and share information on certain data that people do not naturally have access to, whether it's budgets, state budgets for every particular state, and then budget that is being drafted, budget that is being implemented, used for certain projects, what the duration is, at what level this project is. We have a number of them, from budget to connected development to Youth Hub Africa to Tracker. It's just a lot. Yaga Africa. These are organizations that are run by young people and organizations that have a large number of young people. They do not just share this information, but they have other young people on the ground who are also following up with policymakers, with elected representatives and community members, carrying on town hall meetings, putting it out there to say, this is what we're doing, this is how we're getting our data, and they are facts, they are not hearsay. We also have people who organize Twitter spaces. I've been engaged in a lot of Twitter spaces where people are being enlightened on how to engage elected representatives and demand for accountability, how to be able to track certain activities so that you are in the know of when things are not going right and when to call out people. And we also have platforms where we also invite policymakers or decision makers to the table so that people get to question them and they give a feedback. So we're leveraging social media platforms in very, very good ways.
Okay. Thank you very much. Each and every one of us, what are we doing? I'm coming to you first, Glemdi.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are you doing as an organization? What is your contribution in the fight against corruption?
All right. For us at Glemdi, no one should just stand on the fence thinking that his contributions towards nation building will not be counted. We are very particular about awareness, letting people know that they have power, and the power that citizens have is in their votes. When citizens decide to take very good use of the power they have, which is their vote, and elect people with remarkable integrity into government, they are going to ensure that what is due for citizens will not be taken away. Now, for us, we have also tried to watch or look at areas where budgets or where corruptions strive, like the budget tracking and all of that. So we have over time identified projects that have been allocated and the degree of work done, and also pinpointing areas where citizens will the quality of work being done. It's not just giving out projects or just looking at things the way they are going. You have to look at the quality of materials that they are using to deliver services. For us at Glemdi, we feel the youths have been used severally to cause violence during election periods and all of that. Now we are telling the youth, no one should corrupt you into engaging into activities that will ensure breakages of law and order. So be intentional about your choice for leadership, and also alert the law enforcement agency if there are cases of people who are trying to manipulate you into violence.
Okay, thank you very much. I like the use of the word being intentional about it. So he said being intentional. How intentional are we when it comes to the fight against corruption?
Yeah, being intentional is the key word, because it's not, riding on what Zugwe and Habila said. It's more like we put this information out there. Yes, we track, as CSOs or NGOs, we put it out there to say this is what the government is doing. However, what are the youth using this information for? Because youth have to understand that they have to be involved. We have to come together as one body to show interest, to show that these things affect us and we have a right to demand for accountability. Once they are intentional about it, then they go and look for this information by themselves and bring it out there to say, oh yeah, government, what are we going to do about this? The EndSARS protest is one of the tools or one of the things that came out from being intentional. And then we could see how the government reacted. Immediately they jumped on their feet to say that our foot soldiers, which is us, the youths, are demanding for answers, are demanding for response. So if the youths are intentional, to understand that information is key. They communicate about corruption. They put it behind their head that corruption is not only about governance. It talks about the whole setting of you as an individual. You know, how you do your day-to-day affairs, just like Zugwe said, and then how to demand accountability. So on my own end, what we do is that we bring these youths together and show them how to demand for accountability, because most of us do not know how to. When you know, I really get angry, or I really get sad when I hear the elder ones telling us, oh, people are not interested in politics, so how do you expect us to bring you on board? And I'll be like, did you even show us how to be in politics, and how can we be on board? You didn't tell us. There is no any guidelines or any, you know, mentorship program that passes down to the youth. And that is what we do. We look at the youth, we bring them on board, we mentor them, we show them ways on how to demand accountability, we show them that you have the rights to say we don't want this policy, we want this policy to be reformed, to be changed, we want us to be in every table you put out there. So that is what we do.
Your own last words on this same matter.
Okay, as young people, I would use myself as an example. I have been very actively engaged in so many ways, and as a member of a larger networks, I'm going to mention a lot of networks because I believe that young people are out there doing a lot. From Mandela Washington Fellowship alumni, Yale alumni, we have chapters across the 36 states in Nigeria. One campaign, one champions. Year after year, we have cohorts. And what we've done, 2021, we went on the streets to do on-the-spot registration for PVCs. We went to the markets, the roadsides. We didn't just stop there. We got a lot of people that transferred, registered, replaced. We followed up to ensure that they collected them. And by February, those of them that registered in Abuja, we called to follow up and say, come out and vote during the local government elections. That's one action, and that's a lot of young people taking action, because we need you to carry out your civic responsibility. As one champions and as a member of one campaign, we do a lot of public advocacy. During the AU-EU summit in February this year, we engaged with representatives, parliamentarians, ministers, and presidents from all over the world, submitting priority areas for youth. Youth inclusion on the table, economic recovery, job opportunities, exchange programs that will build up capacity of young people, and we got a lot of positive responses and implementation. As members of the Mandela Washington Fellowship alumni, we have a lot of young people in business track, public management, and civic engagements that are doing so much across Nigeria, across Africa. It's a lot that is going on. We won't see this change in a click of the hand. But then this is something that it's a force that is being built. And day after day, a lot of other young people are standing up and also doing more. So this is what we're doing, and we're not stopping now. There's more to come. Just watch out. Young people are turning over a new leaf. They are willing, they are being intentional, and they are doing it.
Thank you. I like what they are being intentional about it. Thank you so much, Zugwai Tagwai, for coming on this set. Thank you, Mr. Habila Kaid.
Thank you so
and
much.
Habiba Ahmed. Thank you so much. Thank you all for your time. It is obvious that Nigerian youths have the zeal and the passion to make a significant impact in this fight against corruption. ICPC on its part cannot be said to have been found wanting in taking advantage of this all-important segment of the population in its effort to achieve its mandate of combating corruption. The Commission is therefore urging every youth to do more in holding leaders accountable to always act with integrity and to report all acts of corruption to ICPC. Call us on 0800 call ICPC or reach us via our social media platforms as shown on the screen. Watch Corruption Must Go every 3:30 on the NTA network and NTA International. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.